Picture a classroom right here in Uganda. It's full of kids, bright kids, just ready to learn. But then, imagine their teacher isn't there. Now, for so many students, this isn't just some made-up story, it's what they face day after day, and it's putting their future on the line. But what if the real key to unlocking all that potential lies with empowering the person standing at the front of that very class? Okay, let's get into this. It's quite a story.
Take a good look at this number, 52.7%. Just let that sit with you for a moment. This single figure right here, it represents one of the biggest, most stubborn roadblocks to education in Uganda today.
So, what's behind that number? Well, it gets right to the heart of what we can call Uganda's classroom crisis. It's a huge statistic, and it really helps explain why so many students are struggling to meet their learning goals.
Yep, you heard that right. According to the World Bank, on any given day, more than half of Uganda's teachers are not in their classrooms. And think about it. When a teacher is absent, learning just stops. It doesn't matter how fantastic the curriculum is or how eager the students are. If there's no teacher, there's no progress. Simple as that.
So why is this happening? You see, this isn't a story about teachers not caring. Far from it. For so many dedicated educators, the reality is that their salaries are so low that just paying for the daily transport to school, the bus fare, the boda ride, it becomes a massive financial weight on their shoulders. The passion is there, but sometimes the money to just get to work isn't.
So faced with a problem this big, where do you even begin? Well, instead of looking only at the students, one organization decided to flip the script. They decided to tackle the root of the problem by focusing on the teachers themselves. They came up with a teacher-powered solution.
And it's called the Power Teachers for Learning model, or PTL for short. The whole idea is actually quite simple, but it's also really profound. If you want students to do better, you have to start by empowering, motivating, and supporting their teachers. It's all about putting power back into their hands.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But what does this actually look like for a teacher on, say, a Tuesday morning? How does it all work on the ground? Well, the PTL model isn't just one thing. It's this really well-thought-out system of support. It's really built on 4 key pillars that all work together. First, you've got digital training and internet access, so teachers can keep learning and growing. Second, there are smart incentives, which include support for transport, tackling that daily hurdle we talked about head-on. Third is financial literacy training, helping teachers make the most of their income. And finally, and this is crucial, it involves collaborating with everyone, from the local community to the entire education system.
And here's the thing, they're absolutely not doing this alone. This whole thing is a massive team effort. They're partnering with digital training experts like Teach 2030 and Enable, with financial literacy specialists at Junior Achievement Uganda, and they're working side by side with every level of government, from the local community to the district, all the way up to the Ministry of Education and Sports.
All right, so the model, it sounds fantastic on paper. But here's the real test, right? Did this big focus on teachers? Did it actually make a difference for the students in the classroom? Let's take a look at the results.
And before we see the numbers, you have to keep this context in mind. This program was running during an incredibly difficult year. There was a national teacher strike over pay, and a lot of students were dropping out of school. I mean, the odds were really stacked against them. So the question is, could this model actually work under that kind of pressure?
The answer? A huge, resounding yes. Get this. For young learners in P2 and P3, the odds of them improving their English literacy, they went up by 11.5 times. I mean, that's not just a small improvement. That's a total game changer.
And it wasn't just a fluke in one subject. No way. The data also showed that students were 4 times more likely to reach higher levels of skill in both maths and their local language, Lumasaba. So the impact was real, and it was across the board.
And this, right here, is why it all matters. Because behind every single one of those statistics, behind every number, there are real children, like the one you see here. Kids who can now read a story for themselves, solve a tough math problem, and build a real foundation for a much brighter future. That's the human side of all this.
So, when we step back, what's the big takeaway from all of this? This project wasn't just a success, it was proof that a powerful idea really can work.
The fact that these amazing results happened during a national strike, with so many students leaving school, that might be the most important part of the whole story. It proves the model isn't just effective, it's resilient. It works even when everything around it is under a ton of stress. And at the end of the day, it all comes back to this one simple, powerful truth. We empower teachers through mobile learning, incentives, and financial literacy. Because when teachers win, students win. It's a clear lesson from right here in Uganda. And really, what could be more important than that?